In this episode of Club Random, Candace Owens joins Bill Maher for an intense yet thought-provoking exchange. Their conversation touches on a range of controversial topics, including former President Donald Trump's role in the January 6 Capitol riots, the hashtag #MeToo movement, the climate crisis, and the cultural debate over political correctness. Owens, known for her strong conservative views, challenges many of Maher's perspectives, questioning mainstream narratives and what she describes as media-driven agendas. Despite their clear political differences, Owens and Maher find unexpected common ground in their criticism of modern political correctness, arguing that it often suppresses honest discussion and threatens the core principles of free speech and open dialogue. For many viewers, this episode stands out, not just because of its polarizing guest, but also for its rare blend of sharp disagreement and mutual respect.
Lie to me.
But don't you miss being able to make fun of each other in like a feel-good way? Go watch the old stand-up comedians. They would walk in, they'd be on stage, and they would just literally, you could not survive. You were Chinese, you're getting a joke. You're black, you're getting a joke about and everyone is being offended and everyone's laughing. And when they walk out, they're closer. Closer, because you need to have it taken out.
You do. You're not now when you're walking on eggshells.
Yeah.
See, I can't make a joke because if it's taken the wrong way.
Gotta issue an apology.
And that way we don't get close.
Yeah, we never get closer. We never get closer. And I still keep that in my friendships. I make fun of my friends I'm like, oh, well, it's because you're black, or that because you're Spanish, oh, you're Jewish, and that is why we are so close, because we are able to. That is actually how people
and it's not
come
to say
together.
that racism still doesn't
never going to go
exist.
away. There's always going to be stupid people.
Like there will all be criminals.
Yes, exactly.
As the conversation progresses, viewers might notice something curious about Owens' demeanor. She often avoids making direct eye contact with Bill Maher, instead keeping her gaze fixed somewhere in the distance. It's a subtle but noticeable detail that adds an intriguing layer to their interaction. While the reason for this behavior is unclear, it subtly influences the tone and energy of their exchange. Maher, meanwhile, offers a particularly thoughtful perspective when discussing climate science. He highlights how our understanding of climate change has evolved, moving beyond the narrow term global warming to reflect a broader pattern of extreme weather events, both hot and cold. This shift in language wasn't meant to mislead, but rather to more accurately describe the widespread environmental disruptions now occurring around the world.
Climate.
I think it's so funny how people take, well, first off, I know what I'm talking about with the climate stuff, so I'm just going to go ahead and promote.
Well, you're not the only one.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think you should probably realize that there is, in the same way that there are narratives I think you're now more awake to. The climate hoax is one that runs trillions of dollars, and we are not running out of space. You could fit the entire world if you stacked it like New York City in Dallas. So
fit. I just said it's not about.
Fit, but the point is that the hurricanes are down. The whole idea that every time it rains, it's because something bad is happening is like it's okay.
What I will agree with you on is this: the environmentalists do often lie because they have this idea, this issue is so important, and by the way, it is so important, that it's okay if we shade the truth to get people on our side, and I don't agree with that. I'm always...
You lied every time.
Well, not every time.
What was your climate disaster growing up? Mine was global warming. They don't even say it anymore.
They don't say global warming anymore?
No, they don't. No, they say climate change. They went from global cooling...
Maybe not in your bubble, but in the world they do.
No, they don't. They went from global cooling to global warming.
They never were in global... No one was ever talking about... It was one... That's such a stupid talking point that you keep repeating. It's a zombie lie. It was one article in one magazine in one day, 1 week in Newsweek or something. Nobody was talking about global cooling. Yes, we understand that the planet is always changing. That's a different story.
The debate takes an unexpected turn when Candace raises a long-debated theory questioning the authenticity of the moon landings. While she's not alone in holding this view, it's widely regarded as a fringe belief. In reality, the Apollo missions were conducted multiple times and closely monitored by international space agencies, including rival nations like the former Soviet Union. These missions produced a vast amount of scientific evidence, from lunar rock samples to long-range tracking data. While healthy skepticism of historical events is important, unfounded doubt can quickly become a slippery slope, Questioning well-documented achievements like the moon landings risks fostering a mindset that dismisses established science, something particularly dangerous when applied to pressing issues like climate change, where misinformation can have serious real-world consequences.
I do know.
I just want to know why we didn't go back.
We did go back.
What, did we go back? What year?
To the moon?
Were we people on the moon?
Yeah. Okay.
I'm asking
Now
a serious
who's ignorant?
question. When did we go? When did we go
We
back to
first
people walking on
landed-
the moon? 69. Okay.
July 20th, 1969.
Yeah.
We went back like 10 more times.
Who went back? Who walked on the moon?
America. You know,
No, but like, what were the astronauts' names? Educate me. Why
who
are
the
you?
fuck remembers what the astronauts' names were?
That's a big. It's a pretty big deal to walk on the moon.
The first guy, and then after that, yes.
Who else walked on it?
I
How
don't
many?
remember the name. Like another dozen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Another dozen humans walked on the moon.
Yes, Americans. All American.
Okay. We don't remember.
We kept going back. Apollo 13 was the one they made the movie about. That was the one they aborted, but that was after we had landed. Apollo 11, I think, was.
I'm not talking about space missions. I'm talking about actual people walking on
Yes,
the moon.
landing on the moon and walking on it. First of all, it is an impressive scientific feat. It's not out of the realm of like, how could that possibly happen? It's only 250,000 miles away. They had figured out enough to be able to do it, even with the shitty computers that they had in 1960.
The conversation eventually shifts to the topic of gender identity and the cultural debate surrounding it. Owens suggests that the growing visibility of transgender individuals may be largely influenced by social trends. However, this perspective often overlooks important historical and medical context. Throughout history, many ancient civilizations recognized people who lived outside traditional male and female categories. What has changed is not the existence of these identities, but rather the language and understanding used to describe them. Today, leading medical and psychological organizations acknowledge that gender identity can differ from one's assigned sex at birth. Research shows that in societies where stigma is lower, more individuals feel safe to openly express their identities. Interestingly, despite increased visibility, the number of people seeking gender-affirming surgery has not seen a significant rise, challenging the idea that this is merely a modern phenomenon. If this discussion sparked any thoughts or reflections, feel free to drop a comment below. We'd love to hear your perspective. Thanks for watching.
Again, a great demarcation between what liberal is, old school liberal, and woke. Liberal believes trans is, of course, a real thing, and they should be protected and respected. Woke is like, well, before they can like tie their shoe, we tell them they very likely might be in the wrong body.
I ran your segment on my podcast actually because it was brilliant.
Great.
Yeah, on Real Time you did the segment talking about, okay, if this is a real thing.
Why is
sort
it
of showing
regional?
its geography.
Why is it regional?
Brilliant point.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah,
Why is
it
it
was
so
brilliant.
regional?
Yeah.
What is it? The water here in California?
It might be.
I've been to dinner parties, more than one,